Hello everybody. Silence in court. So I've been asked to do two 6-minute speeches. I can do 4 if need be. I talk a lot. And I will use my timer. So my first speech is going to be about the Antibes Rallye, which I'm about to do. I like rallies. The Antibes Rallye. Now the Antibes Rallye, as you all know, is part of the French Rally Championship. It is the 5th round, and I leave on Sunday, and I will return, if I survive, 10 days later. Tiens. Faut tirer dessus.
Okay.
I thought I'd tell you a little bit about how rallying is structured, what it involves on the part of somebody who is actually competing in a rally, and then maybe a bit more about the preparation of the vehicle. So, rallying, as you may or may not know, is completely different in nature from circuit racing. So the two big strands of motorsport are rallying and circuit racing. Circuit racing is around a circuit, as the name implies, such as Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, which is universally recognised to be the second best circuit in the world, after the German Nürburgring. And rallying, the specificity of rallying is it takes place on public roads. And if you go back to the history of rallying, which started in the 1930s, it was always fundamental that the cars be based on cars that you can buy, road cars. So they are extrapolations of normal road vehicles, which is why a rally car has to be road legal and road registered. And we'll come to one of the reasons for that in a second. The traditions go back a long way, but rallying has evolved a hell of a lot. The high point of rallying was in the 1980s, when they brought in the regulations which were called Group B regulations, which meant that the manufacturers could produce a very small series of cars, and the cars could be basically rally cars coming off the production line rather than modified ordinary cars. And these cars had about 600 horsepower, and they weighed about 850 kilos. To give you an idea of what that means as regards the power to weight ratio, if you think of a car like a Ferrari will have about 450 or 500 horsepower now, and it will weigh about 1.5 tons. So you can see that the power to weight ratio is completely different. Another very important thing to note about rally cars is that the top speed is not very important. Everybody always asks me, how fast does the car go? And I don't actually know, because I don't look. When you're rallying, you haven't got time to look at the speedometer, and you're looking at the road. But basically, a rally car, you fit a special gearbox, which means that the rally car will not do more than about 110 miles an hour, because top speed is not important. What's important is speed in slow bends, because the roads we use are very tortuous roads, very twisty roads, which is why I'm going down all the way down to Antibes, which is a long way, to take the car on a trailer. It's a 12-hour journey with the car on the trailer, because the roads are so fantastic. Anyway, to come back to what I was saying, the high point of rallying was the Group B category in the 1980s. There were too many deaths of drivers in Group B, because the cars, there were no real safety regulations, and they used a lot of magnesium, because magnesium is light. They hadn't got carbon fibre in those days, which is what they use these days, but magnesium is light but extremely flammable. So what would happen is the cars had turbochargers, usually 2 turbochargers, and these turbochargers run red hot. Typically the impeller, which is the propeller inside the turbocharger, will run at about 120,000 revolutions per minute. So it gets extremely hot, because you may or may not be aware that a normal car engine will go to a maximum of about 6,000 revolutions per minute. So it generates a lot of heat. And when these cars crashed, as they frequently did, because they were going so fast, they tended to explode, because the drivers were sitting on the fuel tanks. There was a lot of magnesium, the turbocharger was red hot, the engine was in the middle of the car to have optimum weight distribution, and they exploded, and people died, lots of people died. And the International Motorsport Federation, the FIA, which governs motorsport internationally, decided it was too dangerous, it didn't look good as regards public relations, which is true, and so they stopped that form of rallying, and rally cars now are only just coming back now, 30 years later, to the same speed that they achieved in the late 1980s. So I have 2 minutes left for this part of the speech. It's true with me you get more words per minute, so it's probably like longer than a 6-minute speech. Let me tell you a little bit about the Antibes Rallye. Now the Antibes Rallye is a very famous rally. It's been in existence for 60 years, and all the rallying takes place in the Alpes-Maritimes, the roads in the hinterland behind Antibes. So why it's called the Antibes Rallye, we don't rally in Antibes because Antibes is a tourist resort with tiny streets and lots of Russian mega yachts. So you don't rally there, but the rally is based in Antibes, and every day of the rally we will drive into the mountains about an hour's drive away to pursue our rallying pursuit. The rally lasts for 3 days, and the timing is as follows. We'll be leaving on Sunday. My mechanics will pick up the rally car, and they will take it on a trailer behind their van. I have a team, and they will drive the car down to Antibes, and I will drive down with Julia in my car, which I use for practicing. So we arrive on Monday. Tuesday is a free day. Wednesday and Thursday are days devoted to what's called recceing. Recceing is reconnaissance of the route, and that's 6 minutes, so maybe we should stop there and I'll continue with recceing afterwards.
Wednesday.